maybe Richard will be the guy that makes the centralized exchange.
That's
I remember a
possible.
long time ago, Richard was talking about trying to get a banking license in Europe.
Yep.
I don't know whatever happened to it. I mean, I assume it wasn't approved or something. I mean, could you imagine? Like, I'm trying to get a banking license, and they're like, "All right, let's look at your rap sheet. Oh, you're currently being sued by the SEC."
Right.
I don't think so, buddy.
Well, I think that was way before any of the SEC. In fact, I don't think PulseChain even existed at that point when he was talking about it. I mean, that was pretty early into Hex when I remember him discussing the banking license and trying to get, which means he had the opportunity. I think he also mentioned to buy an exchange.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember he was asking if anyone was selling one.
Yeah.
So, so
interesting.
I just I don't know. I just think that I don't know what I was even trying to say. I lost my train of thought.
Upon this question here, so more Hex again with a good one. So is there a strong chance of Pulse or Inc. being listed on Kraken? So Kraken has kind of been like the exchange of choice for a lot of people. It wasn't too long ago, a few weeks ago, Ewok and I covered how Kraken and Binance both put out there like, hey, if there's a token that you want to see listed, because they know the bull market's coming and they want to make money from people that want to buy their tokens. So, what would you want to see listed? And they both put out basically the sheet that you can fill out to promote whatever token it is to get it on. Kraken and Binance both did that. Now, Binance has a lot more restrictions and things like that, obviously, with everything they've dealt with over the last couple of years and CZ, being in the clink right now and stuff. They're kind of trying to, they're going to temper things a little bit more. Kraken really kind of appeals to like the real crypto enthusiasts, like Jesse Powell is kind of a, early Bitcoiner and stuff like that. And the form to fill out that token request really is pretty easy. We did it. We talked about it here on air whenever that stuff came out. But yeah, what do you guys think the chances are here? I don't know about Inc. I mean, I don't know what the, no pun intended, but what the incentive would be to list it. But for Pulse anyway, obviously to get people onboarded into the ecosystem, I mean, I don't know about a strong chance, but I definitely could see it happening. And I think Kraken is exactly the right exchange to be targeting with that stuff because I think they're the most open-minded. And again, I think they jive with what we're doing here with DeFi the most. So,
the
Riz,
reason,
I'm
sorry. The reason Inc. is being talked about is because it's not listed in the SEC case.
Right.
So if anything, these guys are probably looking at it and saying, well, there's a pending judgment. We may want to hold off on listing that one. However, Inc. is not listed in that. There's no suit against it or anything like that. So also there's no OA, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why it's good. There's also, it's not really, it's a reward token. So, it'd be like saying, all right, let's take the cake token and list it first. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you don't have any other of those tokens listed on your exchange. It just seems weird starting with the reward token because it has that synonymous dump forever kind of feeling, as most reward tokens do. Although if they're listing it, they're providing liquidity, they're going to make the fees. So I don't know. That's why Inc. is being talked about though, because of the non-SEC discussion.
Yeah, I kind of find it hard imagining people, signing up on Kraken just to buy Inc. Or just trying to get into PulseChain through Kraken through Inc. Like, I don't know. I feel like if they really wanted onto the PulseChain, that they would just find a way. But I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of these centralized exchanges. They're going to be making a bunch of money through trading fees if they make any money through trading or through the buying and selling of PulseChain assets on their platform. But since they're making the money off of us, I always say I think they should be the ones buying their coins instead of the community providing it to them.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I just don't see a strong, really reason to really have a centralized exchange at this point. I don't know. I just feel like people are gonna find it. The people who really want it are gonna find it.
I think that's a good point. Honestly, it's one of the most contentious of all the arguments. I think, I think there are more people on both sides of the aisle on this thing about whether Paul should be listed on an exchange or not, than anything else. I think that it's, and I see merit to both sides. Like, I get what you're saying, Briz. Like, you want to keep the DeFi principles, like that's what makes it special. You can't just easily get on from an exchange or something like that. And Richard has gone. This is a weird thing too. I mean, he's gone on record like very staunchly about why exchanges suck so bad, but also then was promoting like, hey, Kraken and Binance are asking you to list coins and stuff like that. Maybe there was something else within those tweets. I'm not sure that he meant by it, but I do think it would be beneficial at least to get Pulse listed on an exchange like that, just to try to get people in the door. I get where you're coming from. And honestly, it's not like even a hill it's not a hill I'm willing to die on or anything. I see the merits to both sides. I do think it would be a net positive for the growth in this cycle. But I get where you're coming from. I mean, it's like one of those, you're compromising your beliefs a little bit. And I get it. I mean, again, look, it's not something I'm willing to. I hate to him-haw and sound like who gives a shit what are you trying to say, but I mean, I totally understand both sides. I guess I feel like in the end the results may be close, but I think it would be better to at least just have Pulse listed. And we're only talking one exchange. We're not talking about have it be something that people are just holding on Coinbase and all these different things. Just like a good OG exchange like Kraken, I think would be pretty cool. But
I would like it if Pulse was listed on every exchange. Like I want it to be listed everywhere, but I just don't want the community to have to cough up 150K
right
every single time.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. And maybe if things go well and it takes off in this market, maybe people will start listing it. Not every token or coin that's on these exchanges was paid for, or they sometimes they just list them because they're popular. I don't think that the community or the foundation or whatever it is has necessarily donated them in the past. Sometimes they just list them.